Today is Wednesday, the 29th of July, 2026, and today we had a good day. We started off, as you can see here, in a London session. Right early on in London session, actually, a setup provided itself. It was more like an A reversal trade, so like an A grade reversal. Okay, where we was coming up here in the gap between the Asia session and London Open. Okay, and we kind of put this low in down here. Okay, which actually you can see currently where price is floating around, but we put this low in down here and we started to move up. Okay, so if this would have happened, obviously going into London, probably would have took longs. So that was the plan when I woke up around about this time, which was 6:45 UK. I was thinking we'd get maybe a bounce off of here to go long, or I'll just wait for then the price to come up to this level and then go long. Wasn't really in a rush to actually take a trade, but then price had this really impulsive move down after starting to break structure here. So I seen this fair value gap that didn't get tagged. This little one does. Price continues down. Left this gap. At this point, I just thought what would happen was price would tag in here as it did, and then start to make lower moves to put in a London low. Okay, but it didn't play out that way. As you can see, that trade ran up and ended up taking the stop loss. Okay. Now there was a straight away. There was actually hit a nice setup that played out right here. Okay, you could have put your stops there, or if you're really aggressive, you could have put it here, which would have been meeting my plan. As we're inside this fair value gap's been tagged, price move. This fair value gap is then respected and price runs higher. Now that ran easy straight to TP within 4 candles, as we can see. Okay, but I didn't take it. But my eyes are drawn to this sort of PA, so I'll know exactly where to take trades. It was just a missed trade, and I didn't take that trade there. Then throughout London, we sort of lingered around this previous day's point of control, bounced off it here, potential shorts, but it wasn't for me. I don't really like reversals as much as I like taking just the A plus setup, and you'll see an example of that coming into New York. Okay, so again, the price then starts to go bullish. There was a potential move here. Well, this would have played out, and I did read it in real time, but it was out of session, so I tried to avoid taking anything when I'm not in the session times. So coming into New York, as you can see just here, okay, I looked obviously here thinking maybe we're going to get a potential short. Price then bounced up. The session started a little bit after that anyways. And potentially you could have took this long here. Okay, so again, you would have put your stops at this low most likely, so you would have got tagged out. Now I know one of my trading buddies took that, Jake, no names, Jake, but he took that trade. Unfortunately, that took a nasty wick and got stop lost, but actually the level was respected really, really cleanly inside that fair value gap. If you'd have had your stops at this low, you'd have survived it, but just unfortunate to be honest. And then we had this PA over here, okay, where you could have took a trade. Price didn't come back into this area. So again, if I just mark out what I would have took, and I was looking to take this, it just price never actually gave the entry. Probably put your stops here, okay, and it would have literally hit TP in what, 1 candle. Yeah, so there you go. You would have got that. That wasn't even news or anything like that. It literally just pumped down after not tagging the gap. But you would have took that trade there. That didn't happen. Okay, so at this point, I was just sort of watching price linger coming up to the open at 9:30. And then, as you can see over here, we do get that 9:30 open. We tag back into this level up here where that original idea was, and it comes down. Okay, so once it made this big move up, I was talking to my mate at the time, and I was actually, the idea was to take a long position, okay, because obviously I thought, okay, we're going to come into here, potentially push up and go for a long off the previous day's value area high. That was my idea, but as we know, price, we have to move with price. It came down, started to continue bearish, making bearish structure, okay, and then it provided an absolute banger A plus setup, okay, and you can see exactly why that is, okay. We're bearish. We push through this gap with an impulsiveness, okay. This is what I mean when I say for it to be an A plus. On my checklist for an A plus, there has to be conviction in the move through the level. Now with this 3 candles here, you can see the conviction. Price leaves a perfect fair value gap on the level, and we enter on the fair value gap. Simple. Stops normally would be above a swing point, but you don't really need to do that at that point because there isn't a swing point here. You're not going to put it all the way up here, it's too far. So normally when I can't get the stops on a swing point, I put it on the body closure of the candle that creates the fair value gap. It's a safe area. And the reason I do that is exactly this here. Okay. I don't want to put it here because then I know if the fair value gap gets filled, I'm out. Okay. Most cautious, you put it here. And that was probably where I wanted my stop loss. But what would have happened is the contract sizing would have made me have my stop loss just around here. Okay. Which is where it ended up. And yeah, that's how the trade played out. I ain't going to edit it because that's exactly the trade I took as and where the numbers were. Like I said, depending on contract sizing, it's always going to be a little bit off. It's never going to be perfect, but you get the gist of 1.5R. They win a lot. Your stop loss are always at a swing point or at the top of the fair value gap, the top of the candle or the bottom of the candle that creates the 3-bar pattern for a fair value gap. So very easy trading day, to be honest. 1 loss, 1 win. And yeah, just 0.5 up for the day across 2 accounts, and 1 eval is 1.5R up because I didn't take the first trade. So that's 50% of the way of passing another eval. Just a really easy day, to be honest. It didn't really provide too much, but it gave. This is not really a great setup, to be honest, time wise and that, but this is literally my bread and butter, A plus. Okay, and I'll take this, 100 times out of 100, even if they don't win. They play out. I have about a 70-75% win rate with these exact trades. So yeah, very confident day in the end. Made decent money and got 50% of the way on another eval.